Now, everybody's concerned about, is the Bitcoin ETF from BlackRock going to kill MicroStrategy? Basically, the crux of it. From Dr. Pauf, it's Prime Time, and Peter S. So this is interesting. What percentage of MicroStrategy is owned by large players? First question. What impact will the approved Bitcoin Spot ETF have on the current shareholdings? And why won't it negatively impact MicroStrategy value over the long time? When it arrives, is it game over for the MicroStrategy proxy? Presumably, investors would prefer the pure form of Bitcoin ETF. Whew, what's that, 5 questions in one? I'll tackle them all one by one. This is the MicroStrategy ownership today. Michael Saylor has the biggest bag, 14.25%. Then you have all the usual suspects are in there. Vanguard, BlackRock, State Street, Morgan Stanley, Citadel, you name it, all over the place. And they all have big chunks. But remember, they also buy because they have to kind of allocate accordingly to indices like Russell 2000, etc. So they have to be in the position. But also you can see BlackRock buying up a ton of proxies and a ton of miners right now as well, way beyond what their index should be. Next, let's talk about what the difference in ETF and MicroStrategy and why I like MicroStrategy. I always call it financial jiu-jitsu. That's what MicroStrategy can do. So MicroStrategy uses free cash flow from their software business to buy Bitcoin. They issue stock to buy Bitcoin. In fact, they just issued $750 million since the 30th of July, by my calculations, to buy Bitcoin. We will find out what they bought, I'd say, real soon. Also, MicroStrategy issues convertible debt to buy Bitcoin, and MicroStrategy can borrow against their Bitcoin and buy Bitcoin. None of these things can be done by an ETF. That's the difference. In addition, what makes these are actually Michael Saylor's exact words. Why MicroStrategy is better than a spot ETF. If there was a spot ETF, you'd be paying a 1% fee. Fees, of course, can vary. Grayscale is 2%. Maybe a big scale ETF could be half of 1%, but somewhere 1%. Also, with MicroStrategy, you have a software company that generates cash flow. I covered that in the previous slide. They can convert our cash flow into Bitcoin. And third, MicroStrategy is a de facto Bitcoin spot ETF that generates a 4 to 5% tax-deferred yield. A lot of people might ask, what is that? Well, the yield from MicroStrategy's Bitcoin holdings is tax-deferred, which means that investors do not have to pay taxes on the profits until they sell their shares in the company. Ta-da! That is actually very, very important. So, they could have a whole bunch of realized or unrealized gains on Bitcoin, but you don't have to pay tax on that. But you do see it reflected in the stock. In addition, so basically, in answer to the question, I do not believe that the spot ETF from BlackRock and all the other players will kill MicroStrategy or miners. It'll just be another option, and I'll just bring a lot more money to the space and everything else will go up. Now, the next question is kind of related to this as well. This is from Josh R. What is your favorite pair trade? Is there one you keep coming back to? Yes. This is what I call a softball, easy ball, gimme ball or something. So my favorite pair trade is, of course, Bitcoin and MicroStrategy. And it's so much my favorite trade. I've been doing it for ever since MicroStrategy started buying Bitcoin. I saw the option for the ARB. ARB is part of my background. And I actually created a model called the ARB Cloud that does exactly this. And this is what I call the gift that keeps on giving. So I have very, very large positions. Sometimes I swap those positions into Bitcoin and back into MicroStrategy. I do this on Robinhood, in full disclosure. And also, I do it using equities and options too in other brokerage accounts as well. There's many ways in which I play this.